Today I am going to review the most awaiting movie, Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder director Taika Waititi's final Marvel film, Thor: Ragnarok, is essentially a victory lap for everything he accomplished with it. It is frequently hilarious, moving, and absolutely energizing, even though it employs an excessive amount of cliched flourishes and quips. This delightful sequel is nonetheless a force for good with enough visual ambition and passion in front of and behind the camera to stand on its own. Our space Viking hero, Chris Hemsworth's thunderous Norse deity Thor, appears as we travel toward recuperation. Thor has shed the stomach he had in Avengers Endgame, according to Waititi's audio recap offered by his still endearing rock-bodied softy character Korg. He has gone from dad bod to god bod after their home realm was destroyed in Thor: Ragnarok. The Asgardian people moved to a port city called New Asgard. Their charismatic leader, King Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson, has helped them adapt to life on Earth by acting as a tourist attraction, among other things. With the aid of the Guardians of the Galaxy, who briefly appear, Thor unleashes a stylized, high-flying massacre similar to various scenes in Thor: Ragnarok in the opening scene to the music of Guns N' Roses. Thor has lived for many generations and has come to terms with the idea that he will never discover true love because he has no one with whom to celebrate the victory. Once again introduced as a more intriguing hero is Jane Foster, Thor's former human love interest from the first film when he was in a more serious mood. She can utilize Mjolnir to change into the mighty Thor with a helmet and cape now that its components have been fixed. But doing so has a price. Every time she uses the ability, it lowers her potential as a person, which is unfortunate given that she has stage 4 cancer. In Thor: Love and Thunder, Jane is purposefully pushed back into the action, further complicating their relationship. Why it's nice to see Jane again may be seen in Portman's portrayal of Jane in both her heroic and human moods. This time, the nemesis is Gorr the God Butcher, a tortured character motivated by vengeance who casts shadows over the movie's tremendous moments of life. Gorr loses faith after learning that his daughter was killed. Then, starting with the deity who neglected his cries for help, he calls forth an army of shape-changing dark beasts to destroy all gods. In the role, Christian Bale is superb, alternating between high and low tones while relishing the chance to flaunt his incredibly keen teeth. The closest we'll come to seeing him portray Pennywise the Clown with a trace of Voldemort is in this film. And he still maintains the same humility Bale gives to his most helpless, modest characters. He can still be a lot of fun to watch, even when Thor: Love and Thunder downplays his god murdering for the sake of a more romantic theme and to have him share moments with terrified children. Waititi and Jennifer Kaytin Robinson co-wrote the screenplay for Thor: Love and Thunder, but it falls short of its full potential. Part of the movie's roughness starts to emerge when Gorr the God Butcher attacks New Asgard at night in a wild, spontaneous fight scene that causes Waititi's generally steady vision for Thor action to lose control. The seemingly horrific moment appears out of nowhere, and when shadow creatures battle the Asgardians and kidnap their children, it is difficult to comprehend what is going on in the pitch black. In this disconnected situation, a visual gag involving a burning building that collapses in the background, timed for when Thor and Jane have another sexual encounter as a hammer-wielding, ass-kicking mighty Thor, just doesn't work. While Jane, Thor, King Valkyrie, and Korg journey there to stop Gorr and save the kidnapped children, the god of lightning Zeus and the other gods lounge in a golden forum and discuss the approaching orgy, unafraid of what Gorr is planning to do to them. It makes for one of the most striking sets, like a golden and white rendition of the Galactic Senate from Star Wars with a muddle of goofy animals. However, it's also a time when the film is preparing for upcoming Thor stories at the expense of this one, as seen by a shrugging cameo in the post-credit scene. It's also one of many passages where it's obvious that Tessa Thompson's King Valkyrie has been weirdly sidelined despite her proven prominence and swagger in Thor: Ragnarok. Despite her centrality to the events of New Asgard in Thor: Love and Thunder, there are multiple Guns N' Roses references and needle drops, and you're supposed to headbang each time. This is comparable to a joke or callback plot beat where all the music is playing, when catchphrases are presented as safe rather than innovative. All pop culture allusions and superhero-themed gags fall flat. The weaker material serves to remind you that Thor: Love and Thunder is fundamentally a blockbuster comedy sequel, even when it only occasionally succeeds in making you chuckle. Better are the more overtly dramatic sections in Thor: Love and Thunder. which are practically mini-movies about how love comes at the cost of loss but lack the overall novelty of the previous movie. Gorr is presented in a horrible piece of bubblegum Ingmar Bergman, hugging his dead child and renouncing his god before killing him. This is before the Marvel Studios credit card comes out in full force with electric guitars. Later, Waititi depicts the romance between Jane and Thor as an offshoot of his own bizarre independent film Eagle vs. Shark, which is at first cozy and later secluded, even as the two strive to rescue their love in the closing moments of time. It is occasionally extremely humorous but always brutally honest. These touching scenes also indicate the true inspirations behind Thor. Love and Thunder, even though everything is afterwards handled in a manner that is too cutesy or unduly aimed at pleasing the masses to hit as hard as they're obviously meant to. The most important lesson to learn from Thor: Love and Thunder is how boldly Waititi used color, both visually and mentally. Additionally, Waititi deserves the Star Wars trilogy that he has been yearning for. It's not just the vibrant colors, like the golden blood-spouting Zeus troops that appear in one scene, or the beautiful black and white battle between Gorr and Thor on a tiny colorless world that expertly makes use of flashes of blue light, with an emotional message about love. A movie can successfully combine scenes that murder gods with family-friendly parts that are sure to please the crowd, although this sequel has certain flaws. Waititi has shown how inventive these films can still be when their authors continue to include some of their darkest and funniest themes.